Good morning, everyone. I cannot open my camera. I don't know why, but I just want to say thank you, Ofek and Darwin, for arranging this very impressive webinar. Also, thank you, Roni Sussman from the AquaculTech economy community. Sorry. Here in the Export Institute, we work end with the economic mission around the world. We are Israeli-based institute, founded partly by the government and founded by the industry, with the sole purpose of creating those kind of opportunity to promote Israeli company, specifically me in the field of agtech around the world. I think the Philippines is a great dear friend of for the Israeli economy, and there's a lot of potential to unleash. So let's start and do it. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Thank you, Jonathan. And yeah, to set the stage for today's discussion, we will now hear from Ms. Roni Sussman. She's the director of AquaculTech, an aquaculture innovation community in Israel. Roni will provide an overview of Israel's aquaculture sector and its innovation. Roni, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. I'll make it really a short one. Today, just introducing AquaculTech and our activity. So AquaculTech is the Israeli biotechnology and aquaculture community. We are a joint venture. Our partners are the Israel Innovation Institute, the Ministry of Economy and Industry in Israel, the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and Israel Innovation Authority. And we are just now having a new partner, the Negev Galil office ministry. So we are a platform to boost biotechnology and aquaculture locally and globally, to connect all the stakeholders, if it's academy, industry, entrepreneurs, investors, etc., and to create an innovative ecosystem that benefits from networking, knowledge sharing, and dealing with challenges. So our missions for 2024 was to connect and map the Israeli ecosystem, to map the global challenges, to promote the members globally, to allow economic growth, and to secure to food security. And all these challenges are going to be presented in 2025 because the mapping is in process and about to be published. And the global challenges is already mapped. And when foreign trade will want to allow the presentation of solutions from Israel, it's going to be very easy because the global challenges are mapped now, and the companies that solve those challenges are also will be presented on those on this map. So it's going to be very easy to connect with companies if you have challenges in aquaculture. So the Israeli ecosystem has about over 160 startups, and this is the distribution. We have about 25 academy and research institutes in Israel, 32 farmers, 12 novel alternatives companies, 11 shrimp and others, 3 coral companies, 42 technology developers, and 30 algae companies in Israel. All are directed to exporting solutions or products. We also have in Eilat the Biotechnology and Aquaculture Innovation Center, which is the Israeli hub for the development of aquaculture solutions. And this is the place where startups initiate in Eilat. And that's it. I will allow the Israeli technology solution developer to go ahead and tell you about their solutions.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present, and very much looking forward to expanding our network of connections in the Philippines, and to meet all of you. So just let me know that you can see my screen. I will begin.
Yeah,
we can see your screen.
Great. Is it in presentation mode? Here we go. Okay, so we are Baralgae, a company specializing in the cultivation of microalgae for multiple sectors. The three top sectors being aquaculture, of course, as a microalgae hatchery feed, but also for cosmetics and nutraceuticals. I'll come back to this video in 1 second. It wasn't working in the link, but just a quick overview of Baralgae. We are a production company, but also a technology company. We've developed our own cultivation technology, which is fully automated and AI-based and controlled. We have grown to date over 12 species commercially upscaled. And for each one, we've developed a protocol backed by big data that optimizes all of the conditions for microalgae growth, provide top quality, high value species to various markets. We produce 365 days a year, so all of our customers can rely on us to supply in a timely manner. And we can also produce multiple species simultaneously, enabling us to offer a balanced diet for aquaculture hatcheries in particular, but also a variety of products to multiple sectors. And then also key points on our technology is all of the water in our facility is recycled at least 10 times, meaning we have a low carbon footprint and quite a sustainable production technology. Quick company overview. We've been established in 2018. Currently, we're selling in 15 countries around the world, but not yet the Philippines. So we're very much looking forward to entering this market. We have an annual production of 120 metric tons of microalgae paste. Like I said, 11 commercialized microalgae species. And yes, our three main markets to date, I'll of course be focusing on aquaculture, but we're also active in nutraceuticals and cosmetics. And we produce according to one standard, which is a human food grade standard. So our products are very clean and meet all of the regulatory demands for the highest standards in nutraceutical and health for humans. One quick just a look at our facility. Since this picture, we've also already expanded, and we'll begin to dive down now into our aquaculture activity. So as many of you know, aquaculture, microalgae plays an essential role throughout aquaculture feeding practices, whether it be for shrimp or for marine fish or for oysters. Larval feeding requires the use of microalgae, and currently our products are being used worldwide in infant fish hatcheries, in shrimp hatcheries, and beyond. And so our core value proposition in aquaculture is both has to do with the nutrition and health that our species offer, but also operational benefits to the hatcheries themselves. So given our advanced technology for cultivation, we're able to produce very rich species with potent bioactives and higher nutritional values on average than local algae production in various markets using lower tech methods. An additional advantage is that we have multiple species, so we're able to offer a balanced diet for larval species throughout the aquaculture sector, versus most companies are able to produce one, maybe two species. We can offer 11 and tailor-made a diet to your animal. Second, we have zero marine pathogens, and this is a very, very important point. We produce on what's called artificial seawater, meaning we take natural, fresh drinking water, add salt and micro and macro elements to create a cultivation media per algae species. Therefore, it's not actually a natural marine environment, and no marine pathogens, no Vibrio, or other bacteria or viruses are relevant. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that aquaculture producers face in their local microalgae cultivation, is that often they'll produce on seawater and then feed this microalgae to their animals and may accidentally introduce contaminants to their culture. The second group of benefits is operational. We offer a product as a shelf product, meaning it's or frozen paste or freeze-dried powder, which is there for companies when they need them. So if there's a rainy season or a sunny season, which hurts local cultivation, our product is there when you need it and supplied year-round. Also, we have very, very detailed cell counts according to product, and we use a flow cam image analysis technology to make sure that all of our products have a very narrow range of cell density, which allows you to feed your larvae at a much higher accuracy rate rather than counting via microscope or other methods. And also, and most important, this number is taken from the shrimp industry, but using our microalgae pastes, we've seen a more than 5% increase in survival rates in shrimp hatcheries for larvae. On average, that number can get up to more than 10, up to 62%. So these are the key value propositions for us in aquaculture. And I think now would be a good time just to take one step back. We have a video that overviews our activity in the Indian market, which, if I can share my screen here, I think you can see a bit of the technology at work and how we work in the market, which is the best way to get an overview of the company.
Introducing Baralgae's premium microalgae products, offering a reliable solution for early-stage shrimp larval feeds. India is one of the biggest shrimp-producing countries in the world. Hatcheries adapting new technologies and advanced practices will secure a competitive advantage, maximize their yields and profitability, and drive the Indian shrimp market to new heights.
క్వాలిటీ ఆల్గే ఆ క్వాలిటీ ఆల్గే వాడడం వలన నాకు ఎంత మంచి కన్వర్షన్స్ అన్ని స్టేజ్లు కూడా పెర్ఫెక్ట్.
ஆல்கே கல்ச்சர் வருஷம் ஃபுல்லா எல்லா நாளும் ஒரே மாதிரி பண்ண முடியாது. ரெய்னி சீசன்ல ஒரு மாதிரி இருக்கும், சன்னி சீசன்ல ஒரு மாதிரி இருக்கும்.
లేదంటే మన ఆల్గే గురించి మెయిన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాబట్టి మన హ్యాచరీలో ఫస్ట్ లో మేము స్టార్టింగ్ లో సీసీకి కీటోసిరస్ వాడేవాళ్ళం అండి. అది మన క్లైమేట్ కండిషన్ వల్ల కానీ లేదంటే వాటర్ క్వాలిటీ కండిషన్ వల్ల అప్ అండ్ డౌన్ అయిపోయి సీలియర్స్ రావడం, ప్రోటోజోన్స్ రావడం, అది Verticillium అయితే రకరకాల ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ రావడం వలన
it will take almost 5 to 6 days to produce algae in our facility. If it is Baralgae means we can directly use it. Just open the can, we can apply to the tanks.
Baralgae, one of the world's leading microalgae companies, has developed with its advanced technology high-performance microalgae feeds for shrimp hatcheries, supporting shrimp larvae specific needs. High nutritional values, increased survival rates, zero pathogens, competitive prices, and year-round consistent supply.
బారాలగే 2 సంవత్సరానికి యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాను. అది బారాలగే అనేది గుడ్ ప్రొడక్ట్, మనకి బాగా యూజ్ అవుతుంది కూడా అనిపించిన తర్వాత ప్రొడక్షన్ వేజ్ కానీ లేకపోతే సర్వైవల్ వేజ్ కానీ కన్వర్షన్ కానీ చూసుకుంటే இது பெட்டர் அனிப்பிச்சிருந்து మన ஆல்கே మీద பெட்டர் அனிப்பிச்சிருந்து பாரால்கே ட்ரையல் பண்ணோம். எங்களோட சீனியர்ஸ் சஜஷன் பண்ணி தான் அந்த பாரால்கே ட்ரையல் பண்ணோம். அப்ளை பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் ஃபீடிங்கும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 1 hour நல்ல ஃபீடிங் ட்ரெட்ல நல்லா வெளியில வரும். When we get a product like this, where we can use it immediately, it can improve the production, reduce our pre-planning of algae culture.
These products are so easy to use.
దీన్ని మా ఫ్రెండ్స్ కానీ నా కొలీగ్స్ కానీ చెప్తున్నాను, బాగుందని చెప్తున్నాను. ఈ ప్రోడక్ట్ అయితే బాగుంది. ఇది ఇలాంటిది వాడడం వల్ల ఉపయోగమే కానీ ఉపయోగం ఉందని నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. మామూలుగా product.
Baralgae's products are available year-round throughout India with major distribution.
Thank you very much for your attention here with this video. I think it was a good overview here for trying to share my screen again. A good overview of our activities there, and I would also just like to stress that we have products available both for marine fish and for oyster cultivation. So not just shrimp, that the video is focused on shrimp, but some of our best sellers are in the Mediterranean sea bream and sea bass sector for rotifer cultivation and enrichment, which I know is also a big industry in the Philippines. So I'll just have one or two more slides and that'll be all. Yeah, so this is just some of the results of various trials that we've run. You can see that in a Honduran feeding trial for shrimp, we increased survival rates from 51% to 62%. And also we measured the accuracy in applying algae to larvae. Using our product, the standard deviation, as you can see, was much smaller. So you can always have an exact cell count that you're feeding every day, which I think is good for producers who are trying to optimize. Overall, we're selling already in India, as you saw, in Korea, in Cyprus, in France, in Greece, in the Mediterranean, in Ecuador, and around the world. But we're definitely looking to meet partners in the Philippines, whether that be the hatcheries themselves to sell directly, or various distributors who can bring our products into the market and sell both to the shrimp hatchery sector and marine fish. Some of the species that we currently offer, our best sellers is Thalassiocera for the shrimp and Nanoclear for marine fish. And one other thing that I'd also like to mention, as we've entered markets around the world, we've gotten a lot of interest about creating a production facility using our technology locally in the markets. And this is also a line of business that we'd be happy to consider if there are potential investors who think that creating a facility like this, or next to a hatchery, or in an aquaculture hub in the Philippines, we'd be happy to explore collaboration along those lines as well. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you so much for your time, and we'd love to connect with any and all viewers, and looking forward to meet you, and thanks for your attention. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ilan, for your wonderful presentation. We'll now open the floor for 5 minutes Q&A. So just a quick reminder, participants, you may be able to write down your questions at the Q&A chat box, the middle below, and we will try to address them after the presentation. So I receive a question here from an anonymous attendee. How can we avail samples of your product?
We'd be happy to send samples directly to you. Yeah, that's our normal way of entering a new market is we'll send samples, and usually every aquaculture professional likes to see the market, see the product work in their own facility. And usually we'll even try and schedule trials at a couple of different facilities, and we'll send our scientific team to accompany the trials with you in person. Yeah, we're also planning on being at the Philippines Aquaculture event in June for sure. I think there's a conference at that time, or a trade show. But yeah, our normal product procedure for entering a new market is sending samples, following up with our technical team, making sure that the customers see benefits while using the product in their trials, and then going from there.
Great. Okay, are you attending as a exhibitor or as a visitor at the livestock
just as
and
a visitor this year? Yeah.
Okay, so that's clear. Okay, just a few more questions. How much? Another question from an attendee. How much is the chloropsis?
How much is in the price?
Yes.
It depends on the customer and the market. I think we'd be happy generally to discuss prices with customers directly, and we don't usually publish them publicly.
Yeah. Okay. So
but I will
we'll
say
probably
that they're certainly competitive to the market and maybe some of the other producers. So competitive in the market for sure, an attractive price.
Thank you for that. I see that Mr. Ludevito Batilong is raising his hand. Mr. Ludevito, please feel free to write down your. Okay, so I received the question already. Um, Hi, I'm Ludi of Underlud Seafoods Corporation. We are small integrated aquaculture here in the Philippines, located in Davao Province. We have our own hatchery. Do you sell your products? Yeah, Ludevito. We will be happy to connect Baralgae with your team after this session. And so you can move forward with the discussion later on for more in-depth discussion. Yeah. Okay, so another question here. What are the regulatory challenges to enter a market country?
Right. So every country has its own requirements, and I think that's something that in the Philippines specifically, unless there's certain specific product registration requirements by certain ministries, usually we have both all the documents and analyses and paperwork ready to ship internationally. But if the Philippines themselves have any project registration requirements, that's a process we would still need to go through, and something we'd like to definitely discuss with our partner or customer in the Philippines. But I will say we've successfully done this process in more than 8 different geographies for these aquaculture products, and we have all of the certifications necessary to be registered all around the world. It all just depends what the exact demands of the Filipino regulator is. Yeah.
Okay. Any more question from the audience? We can have one more question for Baralgae. Someone sent brochure requesting for brochure and price list. Yes, we will be happy to connect you with Baralgae so you can discuss this further.
Great. Yeah. Again, we'd love to meet and discuss with every single one of you, and yeah, dive down into the products and their effectiveness and entering the market. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and your attention, and we're here for this. If there's any other questions and you'd like to connect afterwards, please shoot us a message.
Okay. One last question before we move to the next speaker. Yeah, it says here, do you have a special storage for this algae?
So it depends on the product. Our best-selling products are frozen paste, so they would require frozen storage at minus 18 degrees Celsius or thereabouts. Usually not such a big problem if we're talking about aquaculture, because a lot of products is processed frozen. But we also have freeze-dried powders, which require no special storage whatsoever. But I'd say the pastes are the best sellers.
All right. Thank you, Ilan, for answering those questions. And thank you again for your presentation. And now we will move to the next speaker. Moving forward, our next speaker is Michal Willis, the Chief Growth Officer at Nanoclear Water, specializing in sustainable water treatment in aquaculture. Michal?
All right. Okay. So thank you again. Great to be here today. Just like Darwin said, I'm Michal Willis, CDO at Nanoclear Systems, and what we're introducing to the aquaculture ecosystem is cutting-edge nanomaterial technology that improves water quality and has a great impact on biological water treatment in general, but in aquaculture specifically, which we'll discuss today. So first of all, just a couple of words. Obviously, the Philippines is a place that we've been engaging in the past 2 years. Our impact is not just in aquaculture, but actually primarily in the Philippines in the wastewater treatment sector and algae control. Some of our partners and exciting projects are with Manilad, which I'm sure you're familiar with, Rontgen Technologies and Rentco are partners in those sectors. So we've been a couple of times in the past year to the Philippines and looking forward to expanding that to other sectors as well. Specifically talking about the aquaculture sector, and I'm going to focus on the shrimp aquaculture, so which is where we mostly operate. So trends and opportunities, we obviously see steady growth in the shrimp production, increasing by 5 to 7% annually. There's a very nice production capacity in the Philippines with export orientation. The Philippines is exporting to major markets for Veneme and black tiger. And you also see regional competition, which actually places the Philippines with the big players such as Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand. So that's very exciting for the Philippine shrimp aquaculture industry. The challenges are, as you probably all know, water quality management. Poor water quality leads to high mortality rates, inconsistent yields, so it's not always reliable. We see a lot of early mortality syndrome, EMS, and production costs are always increasing. There's a lot of fluctuation. The actual prices, not just of production costs, but also of the selling price, is always a challenge. And that's what we're coming to address, and that's the impact we're seeing with using Nanoclear technology. So what is the solution? The solution is what we love to call probiomedia, what we call probiomedia. And it's right here. The innovation is the result of 15 years of extensive R&D by a team of PhD material scientists. And you see it right here on the left-hand side of the screen. It's that petal that you see. And what it does is essentially it's a delivery system, or if you'd like, a substrate for very rapid biofilm formation and beneficial bacteria growth that we introduce into the actual tank of the hatchery itself, if I'm talking about hatcheries, or into the pond, but I specifically want to talk about hatcheries. What probiomedia does is it accelerates the growth of beneficial bacteria to quantities that are otherwise unattainable, and it increases the efficiency and I guess intensifies the biological process, cycling waste out of the water and ensuring great conditions for shrimp to grow and thrive. So what's also very good about it is that it's sustainable. We're using the power of biology without relying on any chemicals or any energy inputs, just by leveraging the power of nanomaterial and of biology, and to let the bacteria do what it does best. And it's the ideal substrate because it's just a delivery system. It's stackable, it's lightweight, it's sustainable, and you can just put it modular. You put it into the tank from small to large. You can introduce it into any kind of system, from very traditional to very sophisticated. It doesn't, and I'm talking from, like I mentioned before, from very sophisticated wastewater treatment processes to a hatchery tank to a RAS system and so on and so forth. So it's really flexible in its application. So this is probiomedia, and I don't want to get too technical here, but I do want to give you some insights on what makes it different, what's the edge. So when I say that it does what it does, what's behind it, right? So a couple points. First of all, unparalleled surface area. If you're familiar with the plastic biofiltration biobowls, you know that they are commonly used, in RAS system, definitely in wastewater treatment. And the surface area there is roughly 500 square meter per cubic meter. And probiomedia offers more than 2 million square meter per cubic meter. So you're talking like 2,000 times more surface area. 2,000 times more surface area. And that, in terms of biofilm formation, you can be like, according to what we're saying, 50% plus more effective. So that's just on the surface area side. We have a very unique porous design, which is what makes us special. Not only we have millions of interconnected capillaries, but also very small ones, and they support oftentimes we get the question, doesn't it get clogged? And the answer is no, it gets very little clog, if at all. We're seeing less than 2%, within in a year time frame. meaning the interconnected porous structure of the material allows for water to flow through with very minimal head loss. And so the material is used for many, if we're talking hatchery cycles, it would last for many cycles. And finally, it's the material that we're using, which is ceramic-based material. You can see this is a third-party test that was conducted within a very short, I think it was 1 to 3 hours. You see the formation of bacteria on plastic versus on ceramic. And there's many things to it, the electrostatic attraction and so on and so forth. But again, it's the material we're using, which is ceramic, emulates nature. It's a unique porous design that is part of our trade secret, and the unparalleled surface area. That's what makes probiomedia unique. Okay, so back to the okay, this is just a quick demonstration to show the impact, to give you a demonstration of what happens. So the water flow through inside, there is growth of biofilm inside the little rock. It's very small in terms of ratio, and then the water come out. So by the way, given the nanostructure, we're talking about very small volume. So we're not introducing like the plastic media, fills whole tanks. We're talking about less than a very, very small ratio and very small space of an existing tank. Doesn't take much to have a big impact. Okay. So what does it do for the shrimp aquaculture, hatcheries, nurseries, primarily applications? So first of all, what I love to always say, it's a proactive way for water quality management. Instead of always, I feel like the way in the industry is very reactive in approach, right? Always testing, checking, is something wrong? Okay, we'll dose some probiotics, antibiotics, whatever people may be using. But this allows for proactive peace of mind. You put the probiomedia in the system, and you know that it really keeps water quality consistently improved for the shrimp to thrive. And most importantly, we're all here for business. It's a private sector, unlike wastewater, and increased profitability right there for the farmers. And that's why I love hatcheries, because hatcheries have shorter cycles. The improvement is very the cycles are short. The benefit is clearly measurable. You can see the increase in survival rates very, very quickly against control, and comparing to control, and that goes directly to the farmer's pocket, because oftentimes those PL are being sold. So we outperform all control groups, achieving significant increase in yield, over 90% survival rates in obviously it depends on the farm, and also I'll show you some case studies, and larger, healthier shrimp that also allows for premium pricing and much better quality shrimp. So just to take you to one field observation and case study that I'm going to reference in this conversation. So we worked with Mann, which is based in Vietnam. You may be familiar with them. Mann is the largest processor in Vietnam, and also have their own farm and facility. We did head-to-head test from Napolis to PL12 stage, and we compared three groups. We did group 1, utilized probiomedia. Group 2 used Mann best practice, probiotics in the water. If I'm not mistaken, it was biofloc. And all other conditions remain the same. Sorry, I said 3. It's 2 groups. So probiomedia against the best practice, which served as a control. Each group was replicated 5 times. So this is a scientific, research, not just like 1-to-1, but actually 5 times replication of and here are the results. So Mann obviously have a very efficient process. They have over 80% survival rate, which is amazing. And we were able to introduce 15% 15% improvement in survival rate within the 22-day cycle, bringing them from 80 to 92% survival rate. You can calculate that in terms of ROI. It was very, very significant and very satisfying. Just to take to taking those post larvae to introducing them to the first stage of the grow out, just touching upon it is the nursery. It's the same, right? Cradle to table, so to speak. You're taking those. So we haven't seen increase in survival rate in the second phase. The main survival rate increase was in the hatchery, but you see final biomass is 35% increase in final biomass, which is literally crazy. Just much bigger shrimp. You see that the health was carried through. And finally, I really don't want to talk about it because my main target here is hatcheries, but which is what we primarily focus on. But you can see I do want to give you an idea of what the improvement of the shrimp quality, those were carried through. You can see, I always say one picture speaks louder than many words. So the quality is demonstrated here just by comparing, obviously cooked shrimp, and you can see the biofloc was also, it's not just how they look and taste and the color and the appearance of them, but it's also the size. You can see that here you had 29.5 pieces per kilogram and here you had 26, which means they're also much bigger. But this is, again, you can see that in the nursery phase, you can see the ammonia were kept below 1 part per million, while in the other, control and biofloc after day 20, it spikes, the ammonia spikes. So you can see, you can get a glimpse into how it kind of works. So yeah, we focus primarily on hatchery. Here are some of our, advanced relationships and collaborations that we're in, from Thai Union in Thailand, Fistax in Indonesia, and others. This is just the material. This is how we apply it into the hatchery, and you can also see here how it's being applied. Just wanted to give you the concept for how it's being applied, and yeah, I think that's it. That's it for today. So just to wrap it up with the focus here. So yeah, we would love to find a partner in the hatchery space. Typically, the way we work is through a large distributor, whether it's feed or other. Many times it's what's it called? Some of the I forgot the word. Antibiotics, probiotics providers to hatcheries. So that would be a typical ideal partner in the space in the Philippines, open for discussions and collaborations in that specific space. So thank you so much for your attention and for the opportunity. And this is my contact info, and I'm sure you can also contact through Darwin and the team.
Moving forward now, now we'll be hearing from Mr. Ido Mann, the business development from Pure Bluefish, company specializing in land-based aquaculture solution.
Hi everyone, I'm Ido from Pure Bluefish. At our Pure Bluefish, our motto and our vision is saving the ocean and feeding the world. I'm sure many of you know the problems in the sector, the growing supply gap where fish are in high demand and low supply. And in marine fish, where you have a dependence on seawater as a water source, because when you want to grow sea finfish, you have to grow it next to the sea. Of course, you have seasonal limitations because of the water temperature and the temperature in general. The long distance transportations for places that are far from the sea, and the environmental impact. And of course, as many of my colleagues discussed, the impact of the water quality of the sea on our products. It impacts algae, like in Baralgae, and of course impacts people who grow marine seafood or fish. Our solution is a unique closed loop technology. In Pure Bluefish, we've developed a zero water discharge that has no water discharge outside of the system. This enables us to be independent from the sea, because similar to what Baralgae do, we're taking fresh water, we're mixing it to create a seawater composite with salts, minerals, and macro and micronutrients. And then we can just mimic the ocean environment by recycling 100% of the water. This enables us to have a consistent and reliable supply year-round, unaffected by seasonal limitations, because our system is fully closed, and we can grow any type of fish locally, even if it's not local to the environment, because we can have a fully controlled environment, and we have no connection to the sea, so we're not constrained by regulation to grow only the local species, because there is no fear of fish getting out of the system and into the local environment. This is a schematic of our system. We have our freshwater inlet, and we use freshwater only to compensate for evaporation. And water that evaporates, we add freshwater to compensate for it, because the salts and minerals stay in the water and they're not evaporating. We have an array of biofilters, one aerobic and anaerobic filtration, and then we recycle 100% of the water. This means we have no water outlet, no fish discharge, no pollution from the environment coming into our system, and no pollution to the environment from our systems of fish waste. The competitive landscape, or what we have today, most people who want to grow marine fish are either fishing them, use cages, or using traditional RAS. All of them are constrained to be next to the sea, while we can do it anywhere in the world. And they are, everyone is exposed to pollution from the farm to the environment, and from the sea into their farms. Also, in most places in the world, they're not allowed to grow non-local species, while we have no limitation about it. And their control over the environment is highly unavailable if they grow the fish in the sea, or is very energy intensive. While our environment is fully controlled, and it's not very energy intensive because we do not change the water at all. Of course, the impact is multifaceted. You can see it affects also the hunger, the industry, and of course, the life below water. Our main market today is the US market. This is where we sell our fish. And this is a huge market that is very dependent on imports. And so we can grow the fish anywhere in the world and sell it there. It's a huge market, and you can tailor-made your product. You can choose whatever fish you want to grow and sell there. Well, of course, we can also tailor-make and choose the species to grow for a local market in the Philippines and sell it locally as fresh sashimi-grade fish. Our business model can either work in the conventional and long supply chain, but also we can sell local fish anywhere in the world. We can grow right next to Manila using agricultural land, which is fairly cheap in most places, and sell high-end sashimi-grade fish. When we go to a market, we usually start by selling direct to consumers. We sell the fish to local restaurants and local suppliers. And as we expand, we can expand our market to export it outside of the country or to bigger chains. And of course, our team is comprised of experts in the field of construction and RAS technology. This enables us to innovate also in the build of the system, and to have our system very efficient with energy use and with the growth cycles. Today we are in our expansion phase, and we're looking for partners around the world who are willing to invest and build the systems in partnership with us and sell the fish locally and internationally. So if anyone is interested, we're happy to schedule a call and talk about it. And I think we're ready for questions now.
Thank you. Thank you, Ido, for your presentation. Now opening the floor for Q&A. Okay, so we received some question from Ms. Catherine. Which fish do you grow? Do you have broodstock or you're importing small fish?
Today we are growing, we know how to grow over 20 different types of fish. We choose the fish to grow in each farm, and depending on local market and needs, each farm can grow multiple types of fish to provide a basket that will fill all the customer needs. We do not have a brood stock, and we usually choose a brood stock from the first few cycles of fish we grow, and then we can start to generate. Usually it takes 4 to 6 years to generate to build a brood stock and grow our own fingerlings.
All right. Thank you, Ido.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry, please.
I see another question. About how are we handling sludge? Do we have an estimate of capex? Yes, we do. We handle sludge using our anaerobic filters. This is the part of the proprietary technology of how we deal with the sludge, using only biological filtration. This is something that is proprietary, and we would be happy to get more in depth about it if you're interested on a private call when we go into project builds and stuff like that. But in general, we're using anaerobic filtration and in order to deal with and decompose the sludge, and the minerals that are not decomposing are just being taken out as salty earth. And in terms of the capex, I saw the question there of if you have a capex estimations. We have a rough estimation because we did not do any research into the Philippines. We have a rough estimation of how much a project like this works. We would tailor suit it to the local sites as we get more into the negotiations and see what the size of the project can be and stuff like that.
Now moving forward to the last speaker. Our last speaker is Mr. Yaron Bar-Tal, the CEO of Mariculture Systems. They specialize in the development and implementation of advanced systems for fish farms located in the open sea.
All right. So what we're doing is open sea, large volume, sustainable precision aquaculture. Now, each word here has a meaning. Open sea meaning we're not like the conventional technologies in the nearshore or onshore. Large volume is about 7,000 to 10,000 tons of fish per year. Sustainable, both that fish grow sustainable, but also that the way we do it is without using any energy, any land, any water from the grid. It's all offshore. And precision aquaculture, meaning that we utilize the most advanced technology in monitoring and growing the fish. This is how our platform looks like. It's a relatively big platform, and I'll start with a short video describing it.
The system presents its patented deep-sea sustainable aquaculture platform, combining a sustainable and eco-friendly approach with state-of-the-art technology. Operating on clean, renewable energy, cutting-edge centralized control and automation, producing 8,000 tons per annum with high profitability and fast return on investment. Fish grow in their natural environment, resulting in better quality, faster time to market, and higher profitability. System operates in extreme weather conditions, ensuring continuous operations. Solution The connected multiple platforms produce very high volume aquaculture for national food security and export. Naturally feeding the world.
So that was a short video describing what we're doing, and actually this is it's like a different aspect. Fish, when there are storms, they don't feel comfortable in the top layers of the ocean, so they want to dive down under the waves, under the turbulence and the currents, and this is exactly what we do. We allow them to imitate their natural behavior by diving down. The field, the area we're acting in is the aquaculture. I'm sure most of you, if you're here, know better than me that capture fisheries are stable for the last 30 years and expected to stay like that for a few more tens of years. And the growing demands of millions of tons of fish per year will be achieved only by aquaculture and not by capture fisheries. Keep that in mind when you think of the conventional aquaculture, either conventional cages in the shoreline, inland fish ponds, or even a RAS, which is growing in the last years. Imagine that on the left, what you see conventional cages. Roughly each cage can grow about 50 tons per year. So just the amount to compare to the system that we produce of 8,000 tons per year, for example, requires about 150 of those cages compared to one offshore system. Now, even if there was no issues either with tourism or with ecological issues, there's just not enough space for 150 of those cages compared to one system offshore. We're not the only ones saying that offshore is the solution. We see that here on the left in conferences, in magazines, that it's a lot of companies and countries are starting to think about that. Special planning of maritime environment is considering offshore in most of the countries in Europe, in the Middle East, and the US. We see in the center all kinds of platforms by, you can say, other companies, not ours, starting to emerge. All of them are in various types and shapes, and they are already in the semi-offshore area. And we see that also companies adapt offshore as a strategy. For example, on the right, SalMar is the second biggest aquaculture company in Norway. It's traded in the Norwegian Stock Exchange, a market cap of about 6.5 billion euros. They started in Norway. They grow also in Scotland and Iceland. And 7, 8 years ago, they decided that their next so-called territory will be offshore. And they aim to, the third of their production by 2030 will be offshore. Third of their production is about 130,000 tons. So the world is going towards offshore. How does the Corallis, that's the name of our platform, how does it work? As you've seen in the video, there are cages, and by the way, the cages can be adapted to any species that we want to grow, either a sea bream, sea bass in our first projects in Portugal and in Israel, or salmons, seriola, yellowtail, and even tunas. Anything that grows in aquaculture, any fish we can grow here also. Now, the cages are hanged with chains to a rig, a semi-submersible rig, which is actually a big floating table, and they are hanged with chains. And as I mentioned, during storm, the cages are lowered to about 30 meters below sea level, thus allowing the fish to continue with their natural life. monitoring and the grow is all video is viewed by camera, automated, analyzed, AI algorithms to improve the FCR, to improve the feeding, to improve the fish well-being, and to continuously estimating the fish biomass in the cages. You can see in the center, this drawing shows here, you see the leg of the semi-submersible, of the floating platform, and the cages during calm seas are on top position, and during storms, they are lowered even below the leg. To summarize the highlights of the platform, so it's a semi-submersible platform that can withstand extreme ocean conditions, and it has been tested in a pool test like any other boat for waves up to 17 meters high, which is high. The production volume is estimated at 7,000 to 10,000 tons of fish per year, depending on the species and the area, on the location. It's a continuously manned. There is a team of 6 people in the living quarters on the semi-submersible rig, and they are there 24 hours, 365 days a year. The platform is designed and built for at least 25 years of service. The fish grow, control, and monitoring is all controlled by AI, artificial intelligence algorithm. Sustainability, we talked earlier. It's protected quite strongly with the IP is protected with 2 patents covering the concept and technical issues. And it can be easily scaled, meaning that a cluster of several platforms can be installed, thus reducing the operating costs. For example, one service boat serves several platforms, flexibility with the operating team, and so on. So that's us in a brief, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are.
Thank you, Yaron, for your presentation. So moving now to quick Q&A. Okay, we receive one question. What holds the 4 pillars? What holds the 4 pillars? Yeah.
4 pillars of the platform, they are 30 meters long. The platform is flow, and they are about half submerged. So the platform generally is about 15 meters above water and 15 meters below.
Okay. So I think Yaron, we will be happy to connect you with the participants after this call. And if there's any further questions from the participants, please also feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to connect you with the Israeli companies. And this actually concludes our sessions for today. I'd like to thank all the participants and the speakers for your participation in this webinar. And also a kind reminder for all attendees, you will receive a short survey, which will take about 1 to 2 minutes of your time to complete. And if you're interested in a follow-up discussion with any of the companies who presented today, you can indicate that in the survey form, and we'll be happy to arrange a virtual meeting for you. So we hope the session has provided you valuable insights into how Israeli innovation can support growth in the Philippine aquaculture. Thank you once again, everyone, and looking forward to collaborate with you on this sector. Thank you.